which concern us so much, including family planning. Honorable Speaker, this is a matter that we need to wake up as a country and fund ourselves. We cannot keep on relying on donors to take care of matters that concern our core livelihoods, including that even getting infected with HIV, which has quite a long history. I know that there are international programs, but I think that it is time we wake up and make right decisions. Thank you for giving me the chance, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you. Member for Nairobi, 2 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I want to commend Joyce Kameme for bringing this, and I agree with Honorable Rachel Nyamai that the world order is changing. I think this is a time for us as a country to reflect on how Singaporeans actually decided to decisively deal with corruption, decisively deal with the need to serve their own people. Uhuru Kenyatta was the first to pronounce himself on USAID's withdrawal and the American government withdrawing funds, essential funds that have been committed to Africa.
Who is Uhuru Kenyatta?
The former president of Kenya, Honorable Uhuru Kenyatta. He actually pronounced himself on the issue of dependence on donor aid, and we should become looking towards being sustainable on our own. I think it's a wake-up call. We need to decisively deal with corruption so that we have enough resources to be able to cope with the demands that we have in our country. And that is the one area that Singapore was successful, and that will heighten and raise the patriotism that we need in our country. If we don't raise our patriotism, Kenya will suffer, and we cannot afford to suffer. We've got 50 to 60 million people depending on us as government. So we need to ensure that we become self-reliant. And I think it is important for us to call a spade, not a spoon. The US and all these countries that have loaned the African countries money and are not willing to give us loss and damage in terms of climate change. We need to also say, if they want to withdraw essential funding, which have been cushioning us because of the various loans that they've given us at very high interest rates, then they also stand the risk of us serving our people first before we serve their debts.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Members, this statement is referred to the committee on health, and we hope they can give a report in the next 3 weeks. Members, before I give the member for Nairobi again, join me in recognizing and welcoming students from Loreto Convent, Songari Junior Secondary School, Westlands constituency in Nairobi County, and students from Our Lady of Fatima Kiriko Girls School, Batunu North in Kiambu County. They are welcome to follow proceedings this morning and to Parliament. Thank you. Now, member for Nairobi.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Honorable Speaker, pursuant to the provisions of Standing Order 44.2c, I rise to request for a statement from the chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Health regarding the status of security at the Kenyatta National Hospital. Honorable Speaker, security in healthcare facilities is foundational in providing safe and effective care as it safeguards patients, protects staff, secures assets, and ensures prompt emergency response while maintaining a secure environment for the vulnerable in hospitals. Regrettably, recent events have raised serious concerns on the security measures at our national hospitals. On 7th February 2025, Mr. Gilbert Kinyua was found dead in Ward 7B at the Kenyatta National Hospital after having been brutally murdered. Similarly, at the Moi Teaching and Referral Hospital in Eldoret County, a 52-year-old cancer patient, Mr. Albert Chesang, mysteriously disappeared from his hospital bed on the 29th of January 2025. His decomposing body was later discovered on the 9th of February 2025, approximately 200 meters away from the hospital on the banks of River Sosiani. Earlier on 29th November 2015, Mr. Cosmos Mutunga was found dead in his hospital bed in Kenyatta National Hospital, having been stabbed severally using a sharp object. Honorable Speaker, despite the brutal murders of Mr. Cosmos Mutunga and Mr. Gilbert Kinyua, no arrests have been made to date, yet the said patients were killed in the presence of other patients. These incidences therefore paint a grim picture on the security of healthcare facilities and the need for higher security standards within such spaces. Honorable Speaker, it is against this background that I request for a statement from the chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Health on the following. A report on the investigation into the death of Mr. Cosmos Mutunga, who was brutally murdered on 29th November 2015, including an expansion on the inordinate delay of justice given that no arrests have been made to date. 2. Actions being taken by the Ministry of Health to investigate the deaths of Mr. Gilbert Kinyua and the apprehension of the suspects responsible for his brutal murder. 3. Measures being put in place to ensure the establishment of robust security mechanisms that ensure the safety of patients admitted or visiting public hospitals under the national government. And 5, efforts being made to ensure that the families of the deceased persons are duly compensated by Kenyatta National Hospital and Moi Teaching and Referral Hospitals respectively due to the negligence in its duty of care owed to their kin. I thank you, Honorable Speaker.
This question is referred to the Committee on Health. Majority Whip. Majority Whip. Order. Majority Whip. I'm looking for your attention. Because the next time these matters come up, I will not ask the chairs, I'll ask you about them. The first statement was by the member for Machakos County on withdrawal of funds by USAID. This one is about security at Kenyatta National Hospital. Because you cannot see the chairman of that committee here, it's going to be your duty to ensure that these statements are responded to. I hope you heard the statement question she requested.
Yes, I heard, and I'm sure it will be responded to.
In how long?
Thank you. I think immediately after recess.
That's 2 weeks. That's 3 weeks from today.
Yes.
Okay. I hope you note that, the member for Nairobi County. The next question is from the member for West Mugirango.
I thank you, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity to make this statement. The Honorable Speaker, pursuant to provisions of Standing Order number 42C, I wish to request for a statement from the chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Regional Development regarding the state of preparedness of our country for the cyclical wet season in the Lake Victoria rain belt and particularly the Gusii Highlands.
The member for Nairobi, I would request you take your seat for a few minutes. Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Honorable Speaker, the wet season, which ordinarily commences around the month of March, which we are in, is characterized by very heavy rain, lightning, flooding, hailstones, and very destructive storm water. Residents of the hilly Lake Victoria rain belt, including those in West Mugirango and Gusii land, suffer immense loss of property, lives, and livelihoods during this rainy season. Crops, Mr. Speaker, get wiped away. Crops like tea, vegetable, and sometimes even gravel roads completely get wiped away, making the roads unmotorable. Despite the budget allocations for emergency and humanitarian responses, there has not been any significant permanent intervention for preventing and mitigating the impact of these cyclical and recurrent disasters. This has affected the economic growth of my constituency, the Gusii region and the Lake Victoria rain belt, making the cost of living extremely high and occasionally subjecting some homes to starvation. Mr. Speaker, it is against this background that I request for a statement from the chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Regional Development on the following. Measures the government has put in place to ensure timely and effective information on hazardous weather so that the residents of West Mogrango and other affected areas within the hilly Lake Victoria rain belt become warned in good time. Number two, a detailed report on the interventions being implemented by the government to ensure timely emergency response, including prepositioning of relief supplies to affected families and homes. Number three, Mr. Speaker, I'm looking for the long-term mitigation strategies that the government intends to adopt to address these recurrent disasters, including climate adaptation measures that the residents and citizens need to be educated on. And finally, Mr. Speaker, I'm looking for measures being made to educate and equip residents with knowledge on disaster management so as to improve their resilience and mitigate the effects of the recurrent harsh weather conditions. Mr. Speaker, I thank you.
Thank you. You want to comment on this? On this request for statement? Go ahead. 2 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. While I appreciate our girls who are in the galleries and to welcome them in Parliament, Mr. Speaker, but also to say I think that statement is very critical. And when you look at the weather right now, the way it is, and very hot, it means the rains that are going to come, Mr. Speaker, are not going to be rains that we will start screaming again when our people are being taken by floods, when Nairobi is just becoming more chaotic. And so it's not just for Kisii, but I think the most important thing, as the chairman brings his answers to this House, Mr. Speaker, we would want to see how are we prepared, because we are going to go into a very tough turmoil, and we will hate to see what happened last year happening again, as if we have not learned our lessons. So for me, Mr. Speaker, it's about Nairobi. I remember in Mathare we lost many lives at night. It should never happen, and I'm hoping we are preparing, and government is preparing, not just saying preparing, then when it comes to that time, but also even us ourselves, that we are not throwing garbages in those drainages, that we are trying to clear those drainages, because that's what now makes everyone go through that flood. So thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'm hoping we'll have a comprehensive answer on that matter of how well we are prepared.
Thank you. The Honorable Wako, there seems to be no chairs in the House today. What we expect on this is a comprehensive statement, not on Kisii, but for the country holistically. What is our preparedness about the wet season with the whole country? I hope you can relay this to the chairperson of the relevant committee. And therefore, the request is referred to the Committee on Regional Development. The next one is a member for Ndaragwa. Is in the House. This should be in the next 2 weeks, or 3 weeks for that matter, because of the break. The Honorable Wako, the next 3 weeks. When you come from recess, we want an answer on that report. Member for Ndaragwa is in the House. The member for Westlands, you have been on intervention for a while now.
Mr. Speaker, I had wanted to comment on the statement that the member from Nairobi had presented, but I don't know if it is overtaken by events or we can still comment.
You can go ahead.
Mr. Speaker, I was also just concerned about this security at our health facilities. If people can walk in a ward in a hospital and murder somebody and just get away with it, and nobody is responding or is being responsible to that, it just raises a lot of concern. Because when we go to these facilities, we believe there's enough security and somebody will be secure at the hospital. But if it happens like that, Mr. Speaker, it raises a lot of concern, And we want those who are concerned, the Kenyatta Hospital and others, and including our security, not now just the hospital, to tell Kenyans what exactly happened. And we want this report to give the family of that member, that so that they can rest their person in peace, Mr. Speaker. And also, just knowing that our country.
Now, the member for Mwala. Order, member for Mwala. The member for. Is this member for Mwala? What's wrong with you? From the 28th of March 2013, up now you still don't know how to. No, you can't do that, Vincent Kawaya. Do the right thing.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, that is what I want to comment. Thank you very much.
The Roma Club, you don't work with your card at all. Where's your card? Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for your indulgence. First, Mr. Speaker, allow me, on behalf of the people of Baringo, and Baringo North in particular, to thank members of this House who made their way to Baringo North in the burial of our Senator William Cheptumo. So, Mr. Speaker, I want to thank the President, thank the speakers of this House, led by our own Dr. Wetangula and Hamason Kingi of the Senate, the leader of majorities, Kimani Ichung'wah, and Honorable Haron Cheriot, and all members who came to Baringo North. On behalf of the people, the support that you gave us, all the way, I can even see my good friend Ariko from Turkana, who made his way to Baringo North, and even Tito Raso, who made his way to Baringo North, and even met our General Dauti Tonje, the man that is famous with the Tonje rules in the military. So, Speaker, I want to thank all of you for the support you gave to the family and the support you gave to the other families, including Malulu and the others. So, Speaker, we shall remember you for that very gracious support you gave to us. Secondly, Mr. Speaker, allow me to eulogize another former member of parliament from Baringo North, one Willie Rotich Kamuren, who served this House and served the people of Baringo North and the people of Baringo East, what is called currently Teati. So, Speaker, Willie Rotich Kamuren is of the Sawe Echet of our culture, and he started his parliamentary business as a member of parliament of Teati, or what is called Baringo East, currently called Teati, represented by Honorable Kamket, for one full term from 1963 to 1969. So, Speaker, after that, he was able to move to Baringo North and serve the people of Baringo North from 1988 to 1997, again for 2 terms, Mr. Speaker, cumulatively serving for more than 15 years in Parliament. So, Speaker, Honorable Willie Kamuren also served as Assistant Minister in Moi government, Madam Speaker. And this man is full of proverbs, full of wisdom, full of jokes, Mr. Speaker. He speaks in a language that if you think is annoying you, but is creating fun. He was a great friend of the late second president of the Republic of Kenya, and a man that is known for developing Baringo North in various aspects, Mr. Speaker, from the first tarmac that has entered Baringo North during the courtesy of Honorable Willie Kamuren, the tarmac that connects from Kabarnet all the way to Kabartonjo to Kipsaraman. Madam Speaker, that is the man that we've known for many years. He actually succeeded in employing many people, especially those of Kipkoimet generation, to become county commissioners, to become DOs. Some of them now are retiring, and teachers, and other civil servants, Madam Speaker. So this man set a firm foundation of leadership in Baringo North and served the people of Baringo North without any favor or discrimination. Today, the locations that we have in Baringo North, after Kamaran, we've just added some few locations. The locations created many administrative units, many sub-locations, many locations, Kipsaraman Division, Partapwa Division, Parwesa Division, courtesy of Honorable Willie Rotich Kamaran. He is a staunch Christian that helped to build the AIC Kabartonjo, and even AIC Mlimani, together with Daniel Toroitich Arab Moi. They actually they built the AIC Mlimani from Mapati to what AIC Mlimani is today. Madam Speaker, he helped many people go to school. Most of us were young people during his time, and he lent us an arm. Madam Speaker, this is one of the only sons of Baringo North, few, who have an hotel in town of the CBD of Nairobi. Most of those who came to Nairobi to start and do business did not own even a single business in the CBD, competing with the people who came to Nairobi first. The Grand Holiday Hotel here in Ngara, in Accra Road. Mr. Speaker, it is good for you to know for the record. Madam Speaker, to end it, to sum it all, I just want to say that this is a man that has lived a full life. He actually in the 90 years and above. And we thank God for the years that he gave to Willie Kamaran, and there will be fundraising to support his funeral on Tuesday, 11 of March, and there will be burial on Saturday, 15, in his home in Ayepo, Turkuin. Madam Speaker, even Ayepo High School, courtesy of Kamaran, even Moika Bartonjo, courtesy of Kamaran, Osen, and many other schools that are outstanding. He set a firm foundation for education, where I have taken over, Madam Speaker. And for the record, it is important for this House that in the last KCSE, courtesy of those schools that I have took over now and be able to palm a lot of resources and human capital, Madam Speaker, Baringo North was able to send 1,803 students to university, which is 62% transition. We are 50+1 in terms of education, Madam Speaker. So with those very many remarks, Madam Speaker, I wish Honorable Kamket was here because he served in his constituency. Kamket, you are behind me. You also give an opportunity to Kamket because he served in his place. But I want to say, may his soul rest in eternal peace. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you very much, Honorable Maclap. Although it's not in your place to give a chance to the Honorable Kamket, I am going to go ahead and allow the Honorable Kamket, member for Tiati, also to give his good words as you have done. You may proceed, member for Tiati.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I want to join my colleague, member for Baringo North, in eulogizing and remembering the life of the Honorable Willie Kamaran. Madam Speaker, the Honorable Kamaran was the first MP for Baringo East constituency, which was later renamed Tiati constituency. Madam Speaker, those of us who come from Tiati constituency, those of my age do not remember him when he was MP because we were not born. He was an independence MP because Tiati is an independence constituency, Madam Speaker. But, Madam Speaker, the stories we have been told by our fathers, and later on in life we have come to meet him as a former MP, is that Honorable Kamaran, number one, was a very, very joyful man to be with. He had a very serious mastery of the Tugen and Pokot language. which are quite similar, especially the Aror and the Pokot languages. The Aror is a sub-tribe of the Tugen. Madam Speaker, the Honorable Kamaran was a very serious peacemaker. And he used his mastery of language to always unite the communities of the Pokot and the Tugen. Madam Speaker, at those times when there was little education in those sides of Tiati, the Honorable Kamaran was the people of Baringo North were magnanimous enough to give us their son to serve as our first MP. Folklore is full of stories that my own father became the chief campaigner of his opponent. And my father played a big role in the ousting of Honorable Kamaran and the coming in of the second MP of Baringo East at that time, the one Honorable, the late Stephen Lomeri Cheptai. And Madam Speaker, for the years that we have, that constituency has existed, the people of Baringo East and Tiati, for that matter, are forever grateful for the services of that gentleman. I have had occasion to meet him when he has he's been aging gracefully. He's always been present in the members' lounge. Honorable Kamaran is a man full of wisdom. He was a great friend of the late President Moi and the eminent sons of Baringo at that time, Mzee Philemon Chelagat and Mzee Bultut, who was the county council chairman of Baringo. We pride ourselves as sons of Baringo and daughters of Baringo to have had such wise men to lead our county in the various capacities that they led. And I want to say, Madam Speaker, that the peace that we enjoy and the development that we enjoy in that region is because of the work of our forefathers, the foundations that they laid, the strong foundations, the strong educational foundations. Baringo North, as we speak, Madam Speaker, as Honorable McLeod spoke earlier, is the pillar of education in Baringo. And I want to say that Tiati is coming in very fast. And very soon we are going to overtake those who went ahead of us. Madam Speaker, we as the people of Tiati will forever be grateful for the services of Honorable Kamaran, and we shall fully participate in this honorable sending off both as a constituency and as a people. And we remain united as the people of Baringo, and we wish the family of Honorable Kamaran God's grace at this time, and may his soul rest in eternal peace. Amen.
Thank you very much. Honorable members, on behalf of the Speaker and all other members of the House who have not given their condolences, may the soul of the Honorable Kamaran rest in peace. Honorable members, before we proceed, we have several schools seated in the public gallery. We have Cornerstone Academy from Kasarani constituency, Nairobi County. We have Loreto Convent Musangari Junior Secondary School, Westlands constituency, Nairobi County. Our Lady of Fatima Kiriko Girls from Gatundu North, Kiambu County. You are welcome to the National Assembly to continue observing the proceedings of the House. And I would like to welcome the member for Nairobi County, to welcome all students from all schools, and more specifically the ones from the Loreto Convent. Member for Nairobi County, you may proceed.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I would like to welcome the students from Nairobi, Loreto Convent, and Cornerstone, and also the ones from across the counties in Kenya. When they come here as students, they're coming here on an observation to understand what it is that government does. I want to take this opportunity to say, work hard. Your parents and your government are working very hard to ensure that you have a good education. So work hard. We are here to make laws, and laws are made for all citizens, including our children. What I want to say is when we met the president a few years ago, he had a message, especially for the girl child. He said to us to tell you that we're investing so much in education because we want you to grow and be able to become responsible citizens of society. And his biggest concern and his message to all the students in Kenya, especially the girl child, is please try as much as possible to focus on education and not early teenage pregnancies. He was concerned at the number of children that are getting pregnant. Now, we do know that a number of children who get pregnant are not the children who are children who've been defiled or abused. We're also working very hard with the president having given us 100 million shillings to ensure that we deal with gender-based violence decisively. If a child has been abused, defiled, please do not fear. Talk to your parents, talk to your aunties, talk to your teachers, because we want as much as possible for girls to be girls. Children should not be moms. Children should be children. So we want you to work hard, we want you to put God ahead of you, and we want you to feel protected by your government and provided for by your government. And we wish you well. And I hope that one of these days in the future, all of you in the gallery will be in this August House defending the people and bringing the good laws that we need in this country. Welcome to the Parliament. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
The Honorable Donya.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I've just watched the gallery. We have so many girls. Being mothers is good. We give them a word which can keep them moving. Our girls up there, Mama County from Kisii tells you your superpower is education. There are things money can't buy, like manners, respect, and your reputation. That money cannot give. You give yourself. You cannot be a superwoman with many boyfriends, but you can be a superwoman with education. Bye-bye.
Honorable members, I would like we end the welcome remarks there. Honorable members, I note that the Honorable George Gachagua is in the House, and I would like to give you a chance to present your statement. Please go ahead.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, pursuant to Standing Order 44, Section 2, Part C, I wish to request for a statement from the chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Transport and Infrastructure regarding the urgent need for speed bumps and other safety measures at the Equator area and Monunga stretch along Nyahururu Nyeri Road. Honorable Speaker, the Kenya National Highway Authority is responsible for the development, rehabilitation, management and maintenance of national roads. However, there have been a high number of tragic accidents which have occurred on Monunga stretch along Nyahururu Nyeri Road, claiming several lives in what is attributed to the road's poor design and lack of appropriate speed control measures, a mandate that falls within the responsibility of KENHA. The absence of properly designed speed bumps, particularly in Monunga, where there is a lot of pedestrian movement, has created a high-risk situation for both motorists and pedestrians. Local residents and road users along this road have consistently raised concerns about the absence of speed bumps, yet no adequate safety measures have been put in place to mitigate the risks. Honorable Speaker, it is against this background that I request for a statement from the chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Transport and Infrastructure addressing the following. 1. Plans for installing properly designed and clearly marked speed bumps at strategic points along the Nyahururu Nyeri Road, particularly in the Equator area, Monunga stretch and other identified high-risk zones. The measures, Honorable Speaker, being undertaken to enhance road safety through the installation of proper signage, reflective markers, and other visual aids to ensure optimal visibility and adequate warning to road users, especially during nighttime and adverse weather conditions. And also, Madam Speaker, the timelines, number 3, the timelines for implementation of these road safety improvements including completion dates for the installation of speed bumps, warning signs, and associated road safety infrastructure. Madam Speaker, we have witnessed a lot of accidents, especially along Equator area. I have personally called the personnel concerned, and they have always been promising me to do it, though they have actually delayed in doing it, and I have talked to my people not to raise the artificial bumps. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Gachagua, I believe that you finalized the statement and now you are doing some explanation.
Okay, thank you,
What
Madam
I've said
Speaker.
is
Thank you,
enough.
Madam. Thank you, Madam Speaker. I'm sorry.
Honorable members, I will give just one person a chance. The Honorable Rindikiri Mugambi, you would like to comment on that statement?
Yes, thank you. I think Engineer Gachagua has brought up a very important point for discussion by this House. Madam Speaker, this organization, Kenya Highway Loans Authority, to me is very responsive. Madam Speaker, sorry, there has been questions in this House. There has been death on transnational highways. And we have seen no action being taken by this organization. Madam Speaker, we are asking you to issue a directive that the CS in charge of transport to come here specifically and face the members and tell us why Kenya Highways Loans Authority does not act despite the continuing death on our roads. Madam Speaker, there is a lot from Isiolo to Ruili. We have written letters. We have held meetings. There is the famous Nanyuki, Meru Town, Isiolo, Soboigan Junction, where it's every day there is a kind of an accident. And this organization, despite meetings, they respond nothing. Madam Speaker, I think the time has come, and let it be the last statement to be sought in this country by this parliament. I thank you, Madam Speaker.
I do not see the chairman. The chair, transport and infrastructure in the House. But of course, we have the whip. So this statement is referred to the Transport and Infrastructure Committee. When will we have the statement, Madam Whip? Honorable Naomi Wako, member for Marsabit.
Yes, I think to be precise, after recess, because in 2 weeks' time we'll go for recess.
That's in 2 weeks. You're giving a timeline of about 2 weeks?
Yes.
That is in order. Make sure that that information reaches the chair, Whip. Next order.
Order number 8, the National Police Service Commission Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 23 of 2024, second reading, question to be put.
Order, member for Nairobi County and member for Taveta. Honorable members, I now put the question that the National Police Service Commission Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 23 of 2024 be now read a second time. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. Next one.
A bill for an act of parliament to amend the National Police Service Commission Act 2011. Order number 9, the Basic Education Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 59 of 2023, second reading.
Thank you. The Honorable Mary Wamaua. You may proceed.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I beg to move that the Basic Education Amendment Bill, National Assembly number 59 of 2023,
be read a second time. Madam Speaker, this bill is amending Section 18(2) of the Basic Education Act 2013, which states that the County Education Board may, in consultation with the National Education Board and relevant stakeholders, appoint a sub-county education office with the clear function and powers. Madam Speaker, this one talks of may, so it is not a must. And that is I saw it okay, so that we may have under the current structure of County Education Board, the CEB, which has the option of establishing a sub-county office as a liaison. While the liaison office at the sub-county plays a role, its functions are still validated by the county board. This Honorable Speaker has led to significant delays in critical education functions such as school registration, school management reports review, and other administrative approvals. Madam Speaker, some of the counties that have very fast geographical jurisdiction covering multiple constituencies, and with that, we have to face delays in validating and approving things. Madam Speaker, if you take an example of Nairobi County, Kiambu County, and Nakuru County, you will see how long sometimes some of the issues required to be done and that need urgent attention takes a long time before the county is able to transact all what is required, and the same goes to Jogoo, and then by the time it gets back, we waste a lot of time, while else some of these things can be done by the sub-county education board if only we can be able to pass this amendment. Honorable Speaker, previously, under the old administrative structure before the 2010 Constitution, we had the District Education Board. The District Education Board, the DEB, was responsible for registering and management of educational institutions in the sub-county, working to complement the provincial and the National Education Board. While else today, Madam Speaker, we do not have, and that is why I'm requesting this House to agree that we amend by bringing back the sub-county education board so that we can be able to give a bit of some efficiency and fast track this without a lot of the delays. The replacement of district education board, Madam Speaker, model with liaison offices has resulted in a lot of inefficiencies, creating bottlenecks in service delivery at the local level. The idea behind this bill, Madam Speaker, was conceived after observing the delay and bureaucratic handles in school registration and administration due to the centralized nature of County Education Board. Madam Speaker, this bill proposes as follows. One, the establishment of sub-county education boards. This will have legal authority to oversee and manage education matters at the sub-county level, thus reducing dependency on the county board for each and every decision. Madam Speaker, a lot of what is required to be done as far as our learning institution is concerned is merely the work of the county education board. What the sub-county education do is just to oversee where the county education board will come to validate a rubber stamp, something that would have already been done by the sub-county education board, and the same maybe fast-tracked to get it to the ministry. This bill proposes to give the sub-county board the mandate to handle the following functions independently. One, it can have the registration and establishment of a bank data of all education and training institutions in the sub-county. Madam Speaker,
the officers in the sub-county offices understand the terrains and the geographical areas and the needs of the local people more better than the county officials who are far away from it. And therefore, issues to do with the registration of the schools in an area where it is required, including establishment of all the data information required. This one can be fast-tracked by the sub-county education office, and the same gotten maybe a copy given to the county education board, but immediately it will be able to get to the ministry offices, and any reply which is needed will be able to get to the required client. Madam Speaker, too, in consultation with the resident of the sub-county, recommended institution may receive funding for infrastructural development. Madam Speaker, you understand that even for infrastructure development that are required in the schools, this is still the work of the county education board. And therefore, you will find that a lot is usually done by the sub-county, but it cannot be enough until when it is validated by the county education board members for it to get it to the national office or Jogo, so that a list can be developed for all those schools that really require the infrastructure. But we can be able to save time and a lot of delay, whereby this one can be given to the sub-county education board if only we agree to establish and to legalize, to give it power and the function that is supposed to do, and we avoid a lot of wasting time. Madam Speaker, the review of the Board of Management reports of the respective schools within the sub-county and submit the reports to the county education board. Madam Speaker, you can imagine, right now we were reviewing and renewing the BOM members for all the primary schools and secondary school. And imagine, Madam Speaker, if a certain county like Nairobi or Nakuru or Kiambu and others that are very fast, you imagine how long it will be taken if at all it is the county education body that is weighted to do all this. They usually organize themselves in a way that the sub-county officials do this, but that is not their work. So what this bill is proposing, we give the mandate for the sub-county education members who understand the areas and the need of majority of the schools, so that it is done, and whatever they come out with is what now will be taken to the county just to note and then forwarded to the ministry. But you see, if we wait for the county education board, it cannot, and it will take such a long time. So whatever is usually done is what we really want, just to put it into law and within the Education Act, so that it's not like an alleged program within the county education office. Madam Speaker, the sub-county can also be allowed to assess the budgetary requirement of running institution in the sub-county and develop allocation programs, including programs on allocation of institutional ranch. Madam Speaker, you find that all this, even the ranch program, is still the work of the county education boards. And therefore, if at all we bring back the sub-county education board, just like the way long time we had the district education board, we are going to make some of these areas very easy, and we still save on time. Madam Speaker, we can also give the performance of any other function that may be assigned by the county education board without waiting for the county education board members coming to the sub-county or to a given school. This is work that can be delegated within the mandate of the sub-county
Education Board to be done, and therefore being more efficient and saving a lot of time. Madam Speaker, also, the bill proposes on the decentralization of decision-making power. Madam Speaker, you understand, within our constitution, we have talked of devolution, meaning bringing services closer to our people. And if we go ahead and establish the sub-county education board, we are making sure that whatever is required is centralized or decentralized within the area where the issue has come from, instead of waiting until when the county education board will come on site to get on what is required. Therefore, Madam Speaker, the sub-county offices will no longer act merely as liaison offices, waiting for mercy from the county education board, but will be empowered to be a board in order to process and approve certain functions, including school registration, management oversight, and therefore this will still be assisting in making sure that we are really not wasting a lot of time. Madam Speaker, the board will also improve on service delivery in schools. By reducing bottlenecks caused by large county jurisdiction, the bill will ensure that administrative tasks will be handled efficiently. Madam Speaker, some counties are very big. They have so many sub-counties. And you can imagine, Madam Speaker, if many of the schools, because most of the time we ask for the requirements or even the quarterly reports that are required, and you imagine the county education board is weighted to look at them before they are subjected or they are taken to the national office. Madam Speaker, this will take a lot of time. Believe it is given to be done by the sub-county education board if we agree to amend, or if the House agrees, we give back the weight that was with the district education board. You will see we'll be saving a lot of time and will remove all this backlog of reports that needed to be looked at by the county education board. Madam Speaker, you also look at the meager resources that are usually given to the county education board, Madam Speaker. And a lot needed to be done. Therefore, even having one board meeting, and they are supposed to conduct 3 board meetings to look at all that work coming from all the sub-counties, then you can see will not be giving the best of the services and the saving time to our people or to our schools that are waiting for the report. Madam Speaker, if you look at the composition that is proposed by this bill for the sub-county education board, you'll find that we want to have the member of parliament for each of the constituency within the sub-county who shall be an ex-officio board member. For this function being of the national government, you'll find that most of the time that the members of parliament, especially of the single constituencies, sometimes need to add something onto the issues, especially when it comes to infrastructures of the school, so that we can be able to advise the board that this school, we have allocated this much from the NGCDF. And therefore, the school that will need funding from Jogo or from the government, apart from the resource of the CDF, is this and that. And that one, by having the member of parliament, will make sure that we are not giving funding to the same school, which will also be getting maybe funding from the ministry. Madam Speaker, we'll also have the sub-county director of education or a designate of the sub-county director of education. 3, Madam Speaker, we'll have the county executive in charge of education or a designate of the county executive in charge of education. 4, we'll have one person designate from the Teachers Service Commission. 5, Madam Speaker, we'll have 2 persons nominated by the Teachers Trade Union. We have NAT, we have KUPPET, and we would need to have a representation of each of those Teachers Trade Union. And lastly, Madam Speaker, we would require 2 educationists of at least 5 years studying based in the sub-county nominated by the Parent Teachers Association in the sub-county. In matters appointing the chairperson of the board, the Cabinet Secretary will ensure that during all this, not more than 2/3 of the